pull this dipstick tube out. I'm not sure if y'all can hear that, but there's a vacuum in the dipstick tube, which there should not be. No surprise, this thing already needs a lot of attention. I've been driving it around just a couple days since I got it last weekend, and I've already fouled one set of plugs, some other things going on. But yeah, I'm learning kind of what it needs. So I'm gonna try to get something done pretty quickly today. And I'm letting this fan get on this intake manifold right now, trying to cool it off some, because I want to pull the intake manifold off, and I'll show you guys why. Let me turn the fan off. Alright, so with the motor running, if I come over here and I pull this dipstick tube out, I'm not sure if y'all can hear that, but there's a vacuum in the dipstick tube, which there should not be. Let me turn this thing off. That's not good, because what it's doing is there's a leak somewhere, which I'm pretty sure I know where it's at. It'll make a lot more sense when I tear it all apart. So I'm going to try to do that pretty quickly here. I might be playing with fire because everything's kind of hot. Probably should have done this without driving it first. Might have made a lot more sense, but that's what we're going to do today. We're going to replace the intake manifold gasket on this thing, and I don't think it's going to be too bad. Might be a little loud for you guys because it's Houston, for some reason, decided it was already August. It's 94 degrees out and a little warm, but I'm going to go over all this and find out what to take off, and then we'll get started. I actually want to try something first, so I'm going to start the car because I need to pull the fuel line off. I'm going to start the car. I'm going to pull this relay out right here, this one. That should kill the fuel pump, which it did. It really did. Excellent. That's a good thing, because now that fuel line should be empty. So when I pull it off, it shouldn't make such a huge mess, which its fuel line's right here. Alright, well, I got that done. We'll work on getting these connectors undone, which should just pull back on the red and then be able to get them off. Carefully, this stuff's old and brittle. A lot of heat cycles. But yeah, get some connections pulled off of here, and then we'll go on to the next step. Quick tip on these injectors: if you just pull that red piece up, well, it can come all the way out like that too, but most of them just moved up. Now I'm just going to unplug them all, just like this, squeeze and pull. Let me show you guys a little trick I learned back when I worked at the dealership. If you don't have a field disconnect tool, you can take the cap off one of these bottles of RTV and put a slit in it. Cut it down to where it needs to be, and it works exactly like you need it to. Dang. Well, there goes that idea. I was going to show you all how it works, but I don't think it's going to work. I think I have to go get something. Alright, well, I didn't get it on tape, but I did get it to work. I cut it down a little bit. You know, it's not the most fantastic way to do something, and it did still spill some fuel out, but it works. Maybe not, maybe just go get the tool. Yeah, hopefully y'all can hear me over that thing. Okay, well, that part's done. Now I've got a couple things left. We've got a map sensor on the back, maybe a hose or two. The map sensor is kind of hard for me to get to. Alright, here is the fuel that I just took off. Back of the intake. This right here is the map sensor. And there is a safety clip on the electrical connector, which I've tried to pull out right here. Looks like it's out. But now I gotta try to push down on the clip and pull out at the same time. Okay, so that was the hardest part. I apologize, I had to put the camera down and get it out of my way, but this is the connector, which might be hard to see. There's a little red thing on it, and I'll show you all that on another connector. You gotta pull that red thing back, depress, and what I learned to do was press in the little button to unconnect it, pick it up, press it, and then pull it back out. I don't know if that'll help you or not. Just take your time with it. But I did get it unplugged, and now I can move on. The rest of this should be just taking off intake manifold bolts. So we get to doing that. Get a magnet, pick them all up with the magnet. Yep, 10 bolts. Ay, 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 it's hot. Very hot. Very, very hot. I think that's everything. So let's count it down. You got like a intake tube here, kind of like a PVC in a way. PVC is actually here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts on each side. All the injectors are disconnected, fuel rail disconnected. There might be a vacuum line on the back. I don't know how that's connected though. Looks like I can just pull it off. Yep. Look at that. Intake's already moving. There's a vacuum line to the brake booster right there. I'm gonna try to just pull it off with some channel locks. There it goes. All right, let's pull this dude off of here. All right. All right, I hope you guys have enough light to see all this, but let me show you. This is the driver's side bank of the car, and I haven't had any issues with random multiple misfires on that side of the car. And you can see it has this yellow gasket here, or orange, whatever you want to call it. This one's starting to come off, and it's still intact. So cool, right? This is the bottom gasket. And you can see right here, all of that gasket material is gone. In fact, it doesn't even have a crossover right there, which maybe it's not supposed to. However, all of that gasket material has been sucked in the motor and burnt. All three of these guys are missing. Look how bad number 4 is. So yeah, that's definitely my problem, because it's sucking air through the crankcase there somehow, because it's bleeding over into the intake ports. While I'm here, I'm going to replace the PVC valve, which is right here. It's a little threaded deal, and we might as well replace the plenum gasket too, because it comes in the kit. So let's pull that off. Well, let's pull this off first. That is just, that's incredible. Just for reference, normal gasket, blown gasket, big difference. Like they built in some frying places for us. Let's look at that. Alright. There's what we're looking at there. Bunch of debris and carbon. But overall it looks good. So there's no doubt in my mind that this is definitely causing some problems, for sure. And well, we're gonna remedy that by putting these new gaskets on it. Before I do that, I'm gonna clean everything up. But one of the things to pay attention to is look at the carbon on all these other cylinders, and look how it's clean here. So it's washing out all that cylinder. The rest of the intake manifold actually looks pretty good. Kind of nice and clean in there. There shouldn't really be oil in there, which is probably coming from all of this stuff, which is why we're replacing all this gasket stuff. So that should really help a lot. Wow, what a difference. This is gonna, I really hope this really cleans up the whole car and makes it run better and all of the above. But alright, I'm just going to get to cleaning surfaces now so I can put it all back together, and cleaning this out as well. Okay, while I'm in here and I got everything taken apart and whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and change spark plugs because they're also bad, and I'll show you guys that later, as far as how bad they are. But I wanted to show you guys a couple things. It's not really that hard to change these spark plugs. There's 16 of them, there's 2 per cylinder, and you just pull the coil packs off. Well, I pulled the coil packs off, and then I pulled the spark plug boots out because they need to be replaced. And one thing I realized just now is I still have part of the original spark plug boot on the coil, which it's just ripping. That's great. Let's see if I can get these dudes off of here without too much problems. So far that's not the case. There we go. So, you know, if you still see them without the little indent right there, you need to pull these off. And then you got to get a little creative with your extensions and pulling things out and whatnot, because you're very limited on space. So example, I've got all these together, and then make sure you got a rubber on your spark plug socket, which I think is down there on the spark plug right now. So that'll be real fun to get out. Let me deal with this and we'll keep going. Well. Just got back from dinner with my wife, but I got this thing all buttoned up. Let's start with the plugs. Told y'all I would tell y'all about that. Forgive my mess. I've got some cleaning to do. It's gonna be a long weekend, so. Cylinders 8 or cylinder 8 spark plugs are absolutely disgusting. They're full of carbon and oil saturated. The same goes for cylinder 6, which I almost can promise you I can find you. Well, maybe not. Oh well, let's move on. Cylinder 6 look the same. These are some of the other regular cylinders that actually don't look too bad. The electrode's about done, and it's seen better days. I think these are original plugs to this poor car. So, plugs are changed. Intake manifold gasket is changed. Plenum gasket is changed. So I'll start with the checklist. I've got the map sensor on. I've got the brake booster vacuum line on. I've got fuel line back on and in place. I've got all the bolts tightened down. Kind of just did them by feel. I don't think they're much more than 20-25 foot-pounds. So don't go crazy on those. 10mm bolts into aluminum. Gotta be careful. New PVC valve is right there, and then tube is hooked up. Electronic throttle's hooked up. Intake air temperature is hooked up. The vacuum line from here is hooked up. Vacuum line here is hooked up. That's pretty much it. I got all the coils in place with the new spark plug boots and everything, so that's good. I put the fuse in that I took out of the back for the fuel pump. So let's hit the key. Let's hit the key and see what happens. I'm looking forward to this. I'm cycling the fuel pressure real quick because I want to make sure that we don't have any leaks before I really hit the key. And we're dry. We're dry. That's good. Good, good, good. Okay. Now, we'll do that one more time. Turn my AC off for a minute. Let's try it one more time. Here we go. Oh, wow. Let's see what we got going on. Hey, there's no vacuum leak here anymore. That's just pretty fantastic. That was the exact desired outcome there. It sounds really good. And I don't think we're going to be consuming near as much oil since we're not sucking it in from the crankcase. So, all is good. That's not excessive. Okay. Guys, we're on to something. We're on to something. Let this computer learn. It's going to take a little bit. But hey, how about that? It's never idled this well either since I've owned it, which is only, 5 days. And nice and smooth. Fantastic. Okay, well, I'm going to stop here for now because it's dark and you guys aren't going to be able to see nothing. But we'll go for a ride tomorrow and we'll see how everything worked out. Okay, so I think I told you guys last night we're going to take the Magnum for a ride and see how better it ran. Well, I took it for a ride last night, and I noticed that the power steering pump was leaking and spraying fluid out when it got any decent throttle input. And power steering fluid is flammable, so we're not going to do that today. Instead, I'm going to start this other video that I'm making right now, and the Magnum's all tore apart because we're about to do a full suspension replacement on this thing because it's not great and it needs an alignment, and I don't want to spend money on alignment knowing that all these things need to be replaced. So I bought a kit, and I'll show you all that in the next video. So I apologize we don't have video of it. testing it out, seeing how it runs. Just take my word, it runs like a total new car. It's so much better. This poor thing has been neglected, and I'm gonna try to fix some of that. So thanks for checking out the new project. Really think it's gonna be fun. Don't worry, we're still gonna be doing some of the other stuff on the Sonoma. We just had trouble finding the right parts, but we just found one of the things we need. So we'll move some things around. We're gonna get back on the Sonoma as well, but I wanna get this thing running for summer. So I have a summer cruiser with air conditioning and go to car meets and hang out with my friends and do my hot rod car friend stuff with my hot rod car friends, right? So anyway, I'm gonna end it off there. Thanks for coming along. We got all kinds of projects if you're new to the channel because of the Magnum. But we got a whole bunch of other stuff too. Some GM stuff, some other Mopar stuff, kind of, sort of. Anyway, just go to our YouTube and check out some of our videos. We got over 100 videos. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. And those who have, we enormously appreciate you guys. Anyway, so I'm gonna move on and start getting this thing torn down. Until next time, you know the deal. Y'all be good.